Alright guys, just quickly, can you please make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell just so you know when I'm uploading. Comment something, just like that, or whatever, and I spelled it wrong, but I'm in a rush. And leave a like, just, please just get at it, and yeah. Hey guys, Ellis here, coming at you with a new video. Today will be on a scout report on Ezequiel Barco, and I'm just going to jump straight into it. Okay, so as I said, this video will be on Ezequiel Barco, who is a Atalanta United player. Obviously, it's an MLS club. It's one of the newer MLS sort of franchises that have come out in recent years. All the stats will be from this season. He's a 19-year-old sort of. I see him as a central attacking midfielder, but he can also play on either wing as well. He's one of these sort of players where he's quite versatile and where he can play. So, yeah. I'm also going to be comparing him to David Silva, as I kind of see their playing styles kind of similar. Yeah, they're kind of midfielders, but they create a lot and they actually get involved in goals as well. Okay, so Barco this season has made 28 league appearances, which is obviously really, really high for a 19-year-old. I think 20 of those were starts, if I do remember correctly, which, for a 20-year-old, sorry, no, I just clocked what I said, for a 19-year-old. He's 19, he's not even 20 yet, and he's making 28 appearances in the season. That is, these are very, very good numbers for a 19-year-old. And I mean, in these appearances, he's scored 4 goals and made 2 assists this season. Obviously, that's not the greatest goal return, but again, he is young, and I mean, I would personally like his 2 assists. I would prefer that to be a high number, just based on where he plays, but yeah, it is just, he's young. When comparing this with David Silva, who also has 4 goals and 2 assists, but in about half the minutes. So, you can kind of look at that and kind of think, he's been half as good as David Silva in a goal involvement sense. All of this does mean that Barco has averaged a goal involvement every 290 minutes. So, once every sort of 3 or 4 games. Compared to David Silva, who has averaged one every 140 minutes. Barco this season has made 2 key passes per game compared to David Silva's 3.4. Obviously, a key pass, as I've explained in the past, is a pass leading to a key chance. So, he's putting plays through on one-on-one with the goalkeeper. He's creating chances where the person who ends up with the ball should really be scoring, or at least has got a very high chance of scoring. And 2 key passes per game, I mean, that is a very, very high number. You look at Josef Martinez, who is the Atalanta striker, who recently broke the record for the most goals in one MLS season, with about 29 goals. I think it was 29. It's either 29 or 31. And when he's got players like Miguel Almiron, Ezequiel Barco, Hector Villalba. He's got these players behind him that are producing such high amount of key passes for him. That shows why sort of Atalanta have actually been, I think they've only been a couple for 3 years, but this is why they are so good in their league, is that they've got such good attacking talent. And Barco is so strong in that. He, 2 key passes per game is actually pretty elite level creative numbers in top 5 league clubs, I mean, David Silva's 3.4 key passes, but that's playing in a Guardiola Man City side. David Silva looks like he's doing much better, but that's because he's playing in probably the best team in the world currently and for the past year. So Barco averaging 2 key passes, you'd look at Coutinho, you'd look at Roberto Firmino or Sadio Mane, for example, those are the sort of levels that they are at, 2 to 3 key passes per game. And I mean, 2 key passes, that's potentially 2 very likely goals that he is contributing to. And when you've got a striker like Josef Martinez in front of him, this is kind of why I'm surprised he hasn't got more than 2 assists. Maybe, there has been a lack of clinicalness from the strikers when he has been on the pitch. But I mean, 2 key passes is amazing. Okay, he's also been averaging 2.2 dribbles per game, with 1.2 being successful. So he's got over 50% completion rate with his dribbles. 2.2 is okay. He predominantly does play in a central attacking midfield role. So, from central attacking midfield, over a dribble completed per game. Also, I should add, he doesn't actually complete all. I'm pretty sure he's only completed about 5 or 6 of the 90 minutes he could have completed, if that makes sense. So he's started 20 games. However, he's only completed about 5 or 6 of those. But that is due to Atalanta's depth in attacking areas, that there's a high amount of rotation. But yeah, so 2.2 dribbles, 1.2 being successful, which for a central attacking midfielder, where there's, you're finding those pockets in between the midfield and the defence, getting that sort of 2.2 dribbles per game is quite good. I would like to see them a bit higher, but you look at a winger, an elite level dribble numbers for wingers are usually about 4 to 5 dribbles mark, whereas Barco's obviously at 2. And for a cam, you don't have as much space as wingers do, so you can look at that quite well. I watched some of Barco's highlights, and he's very exciting when he's on the ball. He keeps the ball very close to his feet, and he runs at players as well from cam, which is something that you don't really see that often, especially in the centre of the pitch. You don't see many sort of attacking players running at sort of the centre backs. So it's kind of as much as his dribbles per game might be a little bit low now, I actually think the way he actually dribbles and when he dribbles are actually really positive. David Silva's averaging 2.1 dribbles per game, with 1.4 being successful. So David Silva's actually having less dribbles per game, but he is more successful. This could be due to age. Obviously David Silva's, I think, just pushing. He's over 30 now, I think. Whereas Barco's obviously 19. And for Barco, I should iterate this, is that Barco is 19, and all of these numbers he has now will only go up, especially if he stays at Atalanta. Josef Martinez carried on playing well, Miguel Almiron's carried on playing well. These numbers will go up, and you could see, in 3 years, you could see Barco averaging 3 or 4 key passes per game. You could see him averaging 4 dribbles per game. So it's very, very positive. But yeah, you shouldn't look into the difference in dribbles too much. Obviously, again, I'll reiterate that, Silva is in a very dominant Man City team. He gets a lot of the ball, and he is very much the creative force in that team next to Kevin De Bruyne. So, yeah, you can kind of imagine Barco, how Barco plays, looking at David Silva's stats that are so similar to his. Barco is averaging 35 passes per game with an 86% completion rate. I would like to see this a little bit higher. 35 passes from the centre attacking midfield. You would like to see it higher. That's sort of like striker sort of numbers when it comes to passing. David Silva's averaging double. He's averaging 70 passes per game with 88% completion rate. So you can kind of see where Barco needs to improve. He needs to improve his sort of passing ability. He's 19, so he has got a lot of time to improve. He's 8 or 9 years behind his prime, so he's going to improve. And he 35 passes aren't that bad. The positive thing you can take from it is that 86% completion rate for 4 passes is very high. So you can take positives from that. Obviously, he's young, he's going to improve. All these stats, as I said, are only going to go up in the future. So yeah. Okay, so Ezequiel Barco, in my opinion, personal opinion, I've followed him for about a year and a half. I used him in FIFA and Football Manager. It's kind of where I get some of my knowledge, like 50% of my knowledge of these players from, which probably isn't the best, but Ezequiel Barco for the past 2 years has kind of been a wonder kid on these games. And normally, these wonder kids sort of, maybe 8 times out of 10, 7 times out of 10 do come out and be decent players. And looking at watching highlights of Barco, he does seem to have the qualities of potentially being quite a decent central attacking midfielder / winger in the future. I was watching some highlight videos of him, and he has such a great weight of pass. I was watching a lot of these sort of where he comes in off the wing, comes off from a wide position, and plays these lovely sort of weighted reverse balls in between the centre back and the full back. which in turn is putting the wingers one-on-one with the goalkeeper and Josef Martinez, the striker. As well as this, as I said, he's got pretty expert dribbling. I mean, in a lot of the highlights, he's taken on 2 or 3 players in a dribble. He has this thing that I noticed with a lot of Argentinian wingers is that when they're running at plays, the ball is like stuck to their feet. It's like they've got a magnet in their boot. The ball just doesn't really leave their feet when they're dribbling, and I actually really enjoy watching Argentine attackers like this. Think Lionel Messi's and Sergio Aguero's, how they dribble, where the ball just sticks to their feet. Barco possesses that, and I think that's actually a very strong thing, especially in a central attacking midfielder. You don't see that very often. A player that can kind of dribble from deep. I actually quite like that. I quite like the thought that he's a attacker that can dribble from deep and score as well and create. He's not a attacking midfielder who receives the ball with the back to the defence, turns and plays a pass. He goes deep, gets the ball, moves his team up the pitch by running, and then creates chances. And personally, in a team, if I was the manager of a team, I would look to have a cam like that. That's just my personal opinion. As I said, I do really like a very good cam who's very good on the ball in the dribbling sense. And I do believe I would say that when it comes to his potential, I wouldn't say it's as high as other people that I have sort of profiled on this channel. I mean, Lucas Paqueta for me has a much higher potential, but Ezequiel Barco has a very high. I do think he's going to be a very decent player. It'd be interesting to see where he goes in his career from now. Obviously, he's at Atlanta United. He's been there for a year and a half. I can see him being in Europe in at least 2 or 3 years. I think he needs to go to Europe to develop even better. For me, if he went to a sort of top half team, think of your Atalanta in Serie A in Italy, or your Lyon in France, or Bayern Mönchengladbach in Germany. These sort of players. I don't think Barco is suited for a big club yet, and I think if he went to one of these smaller clubs now, under a manager that can develop talent, he would turn into a pretty decent player. I'd also like to add, which I actually think is a really interesting point about this player, is that it's a small sort of thing I've noticed recently with MLS players, is that they're going into South American leagues and they're signing these players, these young South American players, and bringing them to the MLS and selling, and people are looking to sell them on for profit. I mean, Josef Martinez come from Torino in Italy when I think he's 25, 26. So I think he's been there 2 years. He come when he was 24. He's now I think he's valued very highly. I think he's at over £20 million now. Miguel Almiron got signed for I think about £10 million from, I'm not really sure where from. He's now linked with Arsenal for I think 11 million. Who else haven't I mentioned? Hector Villalobos, 7.75 million I think it was. He actually looks like a very good winger. He's very quick. He's very technical. And I'm pretty sure I saw AC Milan wanted him at one point in the past. And Ezequiel Barco as well. I mean, I'm pretty sure I saw links with him for Tottenham and Arsenal before he moved to Atalanta. So the fact that MLS is signing these players, I think, kind of contributes to the massive sort of growth you have seen from that league. And, players like Barco and Josef Martinez and Miguel Almiron, this is really interesting to see how they are doing in the MLS and how they are helping grow the competition of the MLS as a whole. Okay, so I really hope you enjoyed that video, guys. If you did enjoy it, please like, please subscribe, please comment. I want some feedback on these videos. Get at it. If you are at this point in the video, comment something about Barco just so I know you're watching. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys.